good, YouTube? It's your boy Charles, the face of trade tables. And yes, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Ban list dropped today. On such an awkward day, a Saturday at that, which is like, I was like, what? I was at Yu-Gi-Oh! Event in my town, and then that Sunday as well. So I was like super slammed all weekend, not to mention Memorial Day. And then to top it off, yesterday was my birthday. So I didn't have time to even, take the moment to talk with you guys, post a video about my opinions and thoughts on the ban list. So here I am today. In all honesty, this is not a first look. This is not a reaction, anything like that. I'm literally just going to talk with you guys a little bit on my thoughts and opinions about the ban list. That's it. Okay, so let's get to this. All right, so first off, we're looking at the ban cards themselves. All right, so Cyberstein. Yes, first off, that card definitely had to go. It's degenerate as hell. It was definitely too many combos and enablers. That it was too many combos that just led to this card being able to be free summoned, normal summoned. People are able to combo off without a normal summon. Search this card. It's just and then there were FTKs. Yeah, this card just it had to go. So I was surprised when it came off the list, but now that it's back on, not surprising to me at all. Definitely needed to go. On to the next one. Heavy Samurai Scarecrow. I was really shocked to see this. Granted that I knew Konami would probably try to hit Heavy Samurai in on the older card back end of it, with the cards that has existed for a while, and none of the new cards to try and like slow the deck down. But I think this was a pretty hard hit, honestly. Maybe I think maybe Soul Piercer the one, like something where it like just kind of lowered the consistency, but didn't take away the combo potential of the deck. I think would have been better. But them only having a single soul Piercer makes them rely on just specifically using that Soul Piercer to loop in their combos, I think would have been better. And then that way, if somebody did something like a DD Crow or whatever, call by, then, you at least had an opportunity to slow the deck down. Now, I think it just kind of took the deck completely out of the meta. And I mean, yes, maybe playable, but it's not going to be anywhere near as good as it could be. So, yeah, I think this is a little premature, my personal opinion. That's really it. The next card, Diablo's Mind Hacker. This card is disgusting. I 100% believe that this card definitely should have gone. That is no questions asked. And like, it has nothing to do with the fact of like just Cashier and what they do. I've never had a problem with Cashier as a deck. I've always adapted and played. I just feel like this 5-lock combo was a bit degenerate, on top of the fact that this just forced deck building to be so weird. And it's bad enough our extra deck is only 15 cards, but then when you have to like double up on important cards because this card exists in the game, this card was an absolute problem. It was a menace to the meta. It was a menace to the game, period, at all. So this definitely had to go. A pointer, yeah, I 100% do agree with this. It's not much different than Mind Crush. It's Saki. It was a Saki one of, to be completely honest, and it's not super surprising that they hit this card at all. So, yes, a pointer gone. Yes. This right here, this branded expulsion. So I am an experienced branded player myself. I have off and on played branded for quite a while. I think this was a waste of time. Expulsion is a great card, but it is not the problem card. To be completely honest, the cards that create the locks that Expulsion can summon, those are cards that are the actual problem. Cards that create locks to or floodgate like situations to a player, those are the cards that need to be dealt with. They need to be taken care of. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're like the gimmick puppet definitely needed to be the card. There are obviously other choices, like the Ra's Disciple. I think there's a DDD monster that does something similar as well. All right, like the DDD monster also could have been hit. Ra's Disciple is not as like degenerate. It's not as harsh as the gimmick puppet. Like at least with Ra's Disciple, there are options. You can Book of Moon and Book of Eclipse. Any option that allows you to tribute the card away. Well, not tribute because you can't tribute Ra's Disciple, but anything that allows you to remove the card from the field, maybe by cost or any means at all, will at least allow you to get past the Ra's Disciple and give you something to play past. With Expulsion, like we're not really completely answering the problem because there's still the Albion Dragon and he can still set up the gimmick lock. It is very much possible. Brandon will still be pretty strong. I personally think that they should have gotten rid of the problem monsters, the floodgate monsters that Expulsion summons, and allow because I think as a card, Expulsion itself is a very unique and strong card that could have given branded strategies and plays that are that could help them and keep this keep the deck flowing. Don't get me wrong, the deck is still very strong, but I think Expulsion definitely was opening up avenues outside of gimmick lock that could have been very useful. So I don't know. I think this is a bad choice as far as a ban is concerned. Yeah, on to the limits. Now the limits. Blaster. I've been saying this card could have came back a long time ago. I don't think this card is going to be super strong. It's going to be a nice utility to the meta, especially for fire decks, and maybe even an interesting extender potentially with dragon decks if people can figure out how to work it. But outside of that, this card is not super good in our current modern Yu-Gi-Oh meta. Mathmech Circular, I'm really surprised that happened, but at the same time, it makes sense. The deck, Mathmech, definitely would have, with amongst all the other decks being hit, definitely would have been very strong. So I guess controlling its consistency, I guess definitely was needed, but I don't know if that was 100% necessary. The deck is strong. I think if it became the best deck, we would have adapted. Bisteel still exists, and it was definitely one of the deck's biggest weaknesses when it was being played. And even with the new support, like it's still pretty weak to the use of a high amount of Bisteels. So I don't know. Only time will tell. Maybe they'll come back to 2, 3, whatever the situation is. But yeah, 2-1 seems a little harsh. This card right here, aside from Gamma, man. So I know there was some degenerate setups and plays in the game with this card, especially with Heavy Samurai. I think with them hitting Heavy Samurai as it was, I don't know. I think it's pretty premature to hit this card. Don't get me wrong, combo decks that are maining this card, that especially trying to outdraw and out Ash on empty fields, this card is very strong against. And then on top of it, when you're going first and you're able to use it and then turn it into a synchro or even a link like Lambda to be able to set up Gamma again if you open multiple, that is, I could say, very strong. But it's easily played around. You just if you know weak spots that your opponent's deck while monsters are on board, you don't have to play into the Gamma. So I don't know. I think Konami just went a little bit harsh on the Gamma hit. Maybe Gamma will come back. I hope. I know I'm gonna hold on to mines just in case for that reason alone. But yeah, Gamma to one is it's a bit tough. Den Long, this card, I know I've had a lot of people, acquaintances, and friends say that they believe this card is going to come back. I don't, I'm surprised, but at the same time, I guess not completely. I think this card is definitely going to make a little bit of a splash. I'm unsure if it's going to be amazing yet. Um, like our meta is kind of wonky as far as synchro plays is concerned. The Yangzing engine is reasonable. Of course, being able to search a counter trap that is an Omni negate is really solid as well. The thing is do we continue playing after this? Can you make more happen? Can you besides that setup? I mean, there are decks, obviously like Sword Soul that can potentially put use to this card. So only time will tell on how actually strong this will be. But yeah, I think it's neat, and I'm actually trying to test it out in a couple things myself. So we'll see how this card turns out. Arise Heart. Man, Arise Heart is. I think it was a little unnecessary. I think Diablos was all that was really needed to be hit. I am 100% behind that one. I don't think a Rise Heart to 1 was necessary. Um, I think, in all honestly, they probably should have put more effort in the consistency of the main deck itself, hitting that, than hitting a Rise Heart. This card is good and everything. I mean, it's basically Dark Law with a quick effect pop. So I think this, I don't know, to one seems to be a bit tough. So we'll see how it happens. I've never really just been completely terrified of this card. It's definitely can play around it, but Konami felt like it needed to go to one. So we'll see what happens here. Pearly Delicious Memory. I feel so bad for Pearly players right now. This deck literally had an existence of what, 2-3 months tops. Like, really? Like, I mean, it like the deck itself came out like the archetype came out in the beginning of the year. So here we are, 6 months of the archetype, and it's already had one of its most consistent cards and combo starters just completely crushed and limited to one. There are decks that have had longer lasting lifetimes, and on top of the fact that the deck's competitive lifetime has been what, like 1 month, 2 months. It's kind of tough, but yeah, here, Delicious Memory gone. Naturia Sacred Tree. Yeah, this card definitely was a bit degenerate as hell. I mean, most of all the consistent search cards in the game that you can use or get to are mostly limited to one. The ones that are not, restricted to only one search a turn, they're limited to one. So it's not surprising to see this card being hit to one. This card, you just dump it and just get your searches, and it's not once per turn. So it's like really. So yeah, this card definitely 100%. I can see that going to one. Semi-limiteds. This is probably the most disappointing part of the whole list. Besides the Striker Engage, Herald definitely could have went to 3. This is so pointless. Cashier Unicorn does not going to 2 does not really do anything to hurt the consistency of the deck. This card literally should have been hit to 1 or even potentially banned, because this is one of the biggest facilitators. Don't get me wrong, Fenrir is tough, but the fact that this card just basically searches you a spell that literally gives you huge extension play. This card right here definitely should have been either to 1 or to none. This was people are barely even playing Lightning Storm right now. Like, Cosmic Cyclone is seeing more play than Lightning Storm on a consistent basis. Evenly Match seeing more play than Lightning Storm. Why is Lightning Storm being hit to 2? I don't know. Fountain to 2, waste of time. There are players, so many players are only playing 2 Fountain in the first place. This card literally should have been a 1 or a ban. Like, I don't even get this. This is, like, wild. Like, they didn't touch Tip, and they just put this to 2. So now you technically have Freaking three, five fountains in your deck. I mean, come on, really. Engage. Hopefully, strikers will step up and be playable. I actually like striker as a deck. I like playing against it as well. So I think striker back in the game should be pretty nice. Sprite starter did nothing. Put an insta two, waste of time. You can search it. Like this card literally should have been a one or none. Like putting this to two literally does nothing at all. Like real talk, it's searchable. You special blue, you search jet, you special jet, you search this card, and then you get more bodies. Like I don't know. E-Telly that is searchable in its own archetype is pretty crazy. I think E-Telly is already crazy enough to being at three, but when there's one that exists that allows you to search it, that's a lot. So I don't know. I don't know what Konami is thinking, but starter to two was definitely not the move. And then last but not least, the Unlims. Steam the Cloak. I think this card is probably gonna something degenerate's gonna come forth in the future with this card. I don't know yet, but this card is really good, and I think it'll definitely end up seeing some sort of crazy play that'll make it super relevant. Um, Gen I like Birdman. I hadn't even realized it had been on the list for so long that it was at one, and it wasn't at three. Um, this card literally is like nearly non-existent in Yu-Gi-Oh! Period at this moment. So I don't know if this means or does anything for this card. Don't know. Think it'll ever see play again. Not anytime soon, unless something crazy comes out that makes it relevant. So yeah, don't. This what is this? Sarah Lotus? I'm not even sure what card that is right now, but to three. Let's look that up real fast. Look that up real fast. What is it? So we're gonna look. Sam Lois. Okay. So SAM. All right. This card right here. I haven't seen this card in a long time. Okay. So it says here. It says here. All right. During the end phase, if you control no spells or traps, you can special summon this card from your graveyard in face up attack position, and this card's controller takes 1,000. All right, so it's a reoccursion card. I haven't seen this card in a long time being played, so I actually don't even know combo use or plays behind it, but it seems like a decent card. So I don't know. Maybe something else degenerate will come about with this card as well. We'll see. So yeah, I don't know much about this card. I actually think when this card got hit, I was doing a lot more judging and working than I was actually playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Same thing with Quick Fix. I wasn't playing much when Spirals was a deck, so I don't know if this is gonna make a big deal. I know Master Plan was the card, and that card is still banned. So I mean, this definitely gives Spiral some tools, and I know it's an insane combo deck, so maybe it'll come back to meta. I don't know. This card right here was at what, two? Now it's at three. It's still not doing a whole lot, so we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously, being able to search cards like DD Crow and anything like that that is necessary is neat, but I think right now the Lyreless engine, the Lyreless deck has been power crapped, and it's struggling just to make a name for itself again. So we'll see what happens. Draco Face Off. This is interesting. This is basically another like starter Hero Lives type situation, but pendulum base. I don't know if this is gonna make that big of a difference right now, but at the same time, is actually really neat that they did give it back. Cards like this that gives you free summons from the deck is actually pretty decent. And Pendulum Base, I think the other card actually what goes to the extra deck or whatever the situation is. So this is for a Pendulum Base deck. This is actually a pretty solid card, and it being back at three is actually kind of neat. So we'll see what happens with it. I don't know. Multi-role. Wow. Striker is almost at full power, and I'm hoping that it will get there. I don't think that obviously Engage 2-3 will ever happen again, because the card is so damn degenerate that people played in other decks besides Striker. But seeing this to 3, like, hopefully Striker will literally be able to play again. It's one of the best, like 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 slow paced decks, mid range decks in the game. It pairs well with one of my favorite decks of all time in the game, which is Spellbooks. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, and maybe there'll be some runic striker decks being played, some spellbooks striker decks being played, just pure striker being played. All of this stuff should be coming about like really good. So we'll see what happens in the meta, but this is actually pretty decent. So and in all honestly, I feel like this list was kind of a slap on the wrist for most of the game. I personally do believe that Kashira is still probably the strongest deck in the meta. Branded is definitely an easily top contender for that spot. It's only time will tell. Like, Branded still has its weaknesses, obviously, to being asked, and if you don't have the answer to ask, you just don't really get anywhere. Granted that there are some backup options to it, but you have to have the cards. And, Branded doesn't search those cards consistently. So, I think Branded is definitely going to be a deck that is to completely fear, and probably one of the top choice decks to play right now. But Kashira, I think, is still, my opinion, the most consistent and strongest deck. The only deck in this game that I think can play through hand traps consistently. They didn't touch Birth. Like, Kashira Birth is insane. I think that's like their best card. It gives them their recovery. It gives them extension. It's a combo extender. It's a recovery card. Like, they did not touch that card. So I think Kashira is definitely going to be the choice deck for Nationals coming up, in my honest opinion. So we'll see. But this is your boy Charles, the face of Trade Tables. I'm signing out on this. I appreciate you guys coming and joining and checking out the video, of course. And as always, if you can, you got this far, like, subscribe. It helps me out. I'm trying to grow this channel. We are now sitting at approximately 165 subscribers. I want to try and get 500 subscribers in the next month. So if you guys can help me out with that, hit that subscribe button. This is your boy Charles, the face of Trade Table, signing out. Deuces.
Most valuable player going hard all season. I make the game look easy. I give him something to believe in. If I'ma do it, I'ma do it for a reason. Only day one, homies, who you see me with. Damn right, that's the same clip. And we all be on the same mission. If we gon' do it like we mean it. MVP going hard all season. I make the game look easy. I give him something to believe in. If I'ma do it for a reason. Only day one, homies, who you see me with. Damn right, that's the same clip. And we all be on the same mission. If we gon' do it like